the way that it is played is very horrible in solo queue, because you have 5 people right here, and you can go literally take 2 towers, counter enemy jungle, and then you take this, and then he takes his jungle, and then you will go over there after the reset, then he takes your jungle, and then you take this part of the jungle. You took 4 jungle quadrants and 2 towers. In the meanwhile, you fought like an ARAM and someone got dragon. So when you're playing jungle, what is the main guideline that you have? What is the thing that should be sort of your compass? Camps, okay.
The lane states.
Camps, that's true. Lane states, what else?
Objectives,
I don't think so. Because objectives, like, it depends if you can fight around them or not, right? The third thing, or like the main thing in my opinion, is that the location of enemy jungler, right?
Okay, yeah.
So for example, like, you start a game, you're playing Viego, and then you have the Jack starting over there. You will path this way, right?
Yeah.
And then he will path probably something like this. Maybe he'll try to do something the same. I don't know. Like, the Jack's jungle is pretty weird. Regardless of which, you know that he will end up here at, for example, like at 315. He will also like end up somewhere else at 315. That's pretty basic. Now, what you need to know is that when you're here at the end of jungle path, now we start using our compass. One, his location. He is not here. Then it means that we need to now check our lane states. Is this gankable? Is this gankable? Or, should we just go here? Right?
Yeah.
And this shows you that if you default to top side, you end up with 2 options. But if you go to mid lane, you can try to check Raptors, but most junglers clear Raptors already. So this one is like slightly more risk than this one. It's a game of numbers at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
This is like the first clear. The thing that you want to have an understanding of, it's like after that, everyone has, their time to go somewhere. So for example, Jax should be somewhere right there. And this allows you an opportunity to plant vision or even counter jungle, right? This is like
So you track them on the way back from base.
Exactly. You track them on the way back from base. So let's say that you put 2 wards here and you see nothing with these 2. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it's good because it means he's on the other side of the map.
Yeah, he's somewhere here or the other side of that. Never exclude the fact that they're at their base. Okay?
Yeah.
It's highly unlikely, but don't exclude that because they might be there. And this is like where you have to like rush yourself. Because now you understand that Jax has 2 directions. Jax has one direction that could be to your jungle and one direction that could be bot side. Most likely, it will be towards his bot side, for example, like basically 80% of the time, right? This is if we don't factor lane states into consideration, okay?
Yeah.
And if you have someone in a bad lane state, basically they're vulnerable, this means that they're also, can be considered for a candidate gank. And if you see them over there, now you have to look at your bot side, okay?
Yeah,
and this is when you start going there. Because right now this gank is always, just like he had his opportunity top lane, now you have your opportunity bot side, and vice versa. Okay. All of this does not depend on the matchup, because this is us not even interacting with the other enemy jungler. We don't want to interact with him directly. We want to interact with him indirectly. If you're playing like a hyper clear champion or like a clearing champion like Viego, Hecarim, Karthus, you don't want to go into their faces, and especially like someone like Zen, someone like Vi, they try to interact with you, you just shove them away and you try to like play something else. This is basically what the early game is about. The early game is about looking at your lane states and how their waves are conditioned. This is like very, very compressed edition. And then you try to create a map that you sequence all of your camps towards the target lane state. Okay?
Yeah.
That's how this thing is usually played, or this is like how you want to play it. Let's go about the mid game here real quick. So for the mid game, this is about creating a win condition. We must take a tower. It doesn't matter what it is. Like a lot of people, oh, should I take first tower or top? Should it be bot side? It actually doesn't matter. because you're creating a win condition of some sort. If you're going to create a win condition, you should choose like your best lane, but that's not the only thing. Just having a best lane, it doesn't really make it the best opportunity, right? If you have the best opportunity, you choose the best opportunity every time, because if you're choosing the best lane and you have to optimize for that shit, then you're not going to get it quick enough. Now you will risk your tempo. You might lose it because they might just, combat it and stop you, or you might be stopped, or something else might happen, or someone else might lose. You never know. And that's why I prefer tempo and speed over like optimizing the best opportunity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if it was a slow game, or you feel it's a slow game, then you can try to optimize for best opportunity. But mainly, here's what I like. Let's say, for an example, you have a Teemo versus a Tryndamere. You have the Teemo. This is like best opportunity, best speed. Teemo's like freezing here. Go and gank. Clear jungle. Gank again. Lane is still frozen. Take Herald. Gank one more time. You get 3 kills every single time. This lane is very oppressive. Or it's like an example of a really, really oppressive lane. Ranged matchup versus, melee top. Usually goes horrible if the ranged guy was slightly decent, and some Teemo players are really good. And you can just destroy that tower. Then now you have access to all of this jungle. Also, Teemo has access to all of this space. And the second goal of the mid game is to transfer this lead into like some other parts of the game. This is the early to mid still. Now we're approaching minute 15, 16. Now, what happens is 2 things. Your bot lane is looking to go mid lane, because this should be done with. And your mid lane is looking for something to do. Usually low elo mid laners, they don't go bot side because they don't like the side lane. So they will start roaming around. You need to do 3 things here. 1, you need to start pushing your vision. This is a control ward. Upgrade it to here. And now, I know that, you probably have sweepers. Move around, start sweeping around, see if they have vision or not. Start taking their jungle camps. Start spending some time in enemy jungle more than yours. Because you're transferring your claim. Okay? You do the same thing here. This is a control ward. You can have it here if you want to. And this is, slightly becomes yours. Basically, you're blocking entrance here. You expect people to come here, blocking entrance. You have lanes pushing. But what also happens is like a lot of players, they ARAM. People just like ARAM over here, don't they? And,
definitely.
Yeah. And when you see an ARAM, you just shy away. It doesn't matter what side lane you go to. Because it will be 5 people here, 4 people here plus tower. And what you do is that you are going to... You do this as anticipation of the ARAM, so you don't do it as the ARAM happens. The correct time frame is like before. You see like everyone's going mid, you go away from mid lane. And then you try to push this tower. Maybe you get it. Well, if you don't, what happens is that they start sending 1 person right there. And that's enough for you. Now
you can create pressure.
Exactly. You can choose between killing them. More often than not, even I tell you, like, probably you shouldn't do that. Just like, try to go get a flank maybe in anticipation of that. And then you try to like move in, get this tower again. And what happens is this guy will recall, and now another ARAMer is going to go over here. And now what is happening? We're creating a lot of mobility and motion here. And very little players that are just, lying around.
Yeah, and we've already got a lot of vision in the jungle, so we can track them easier.
Exactly. Meaning now you go for picks. This is where the middle game, is good. You go for picks. Meaning that right now, the mid game is going to be played. Basically, we're trying to create advantages and find advantageous fights in order to force objectives. Objectives like the Dragon God, even though I don't like it and I use it, we use it in our different way. But in essence, you can get the dragon by trying to create a pick and then going for dragon. But also the drawback to this is like a lot of people, they allocate a lot of resources to it. The objective inherently isn't bad, but the way that it is played is very horrible in solo queue, because you have 5 people right here and you can go literally take 2 towers, counter enemy jungle, and then you take this, and then he takes his jungle, and then you will go over there after the reset, then he takes your jungle, and then you take this part of the jungle. You took 4 jungle quadrants and 2 towers. In the meanwhile, you fought like an ARAM and someone gets dragon. This is how we are closing our games. Do you see like the mistake that we constant abuse?
Yeah, because they're all focused on dragon, you can go and do all that stuff.
Exactly. And this is like the objective of the mid game. You have 2 objectives. Either you go for the pick oriented and then get the objective and go, or you go for the I'll shy away from the ARAM and then I will start pushing lanes. Now, as I push lanes, someone's going to come and respond to me, maybe 2 people. Then I'll create my pressure, push them off the tower, and then come and take jungle camps, go back, join my team mid lane for a bit, go over here, do the same thing. They're going to try to send people to stop me, and then I'll try to protect these jungle camps if I can. If I can't, I don't. And then, going back and forth, and then you reach a breakthrough or forcing point where you just, after like the second that you're reset in the mid game, this is the highest peak of your power, right? After every reset, you'll be at the peak of your power, yeah?
Yeah.
And you use that reset to create a fight to make sure that you're getting something out of it. Okay, now we reach the closing parts. This is the late game. Welcome. Or mid to late game. These turrets should be down by this point if you've been playing the game properly. Even if you have a losing team, it is very possible, and we've done this multiple times in our sessions, where we actually had these turrets down, right? Yeah. Now, we shift our focus from trying to create pressure to maintain pressure. What is the difference between that? Creating pressure means that you have to take a risk to create it. Maintaining it means that there's a line, for example, this line here. We need to make sure that all of our lanes are looking this way. Okay? And then when you find that the enemies are, tucked in somewhere, for example, see in this pocket right here, and you're right there, and they're going for dragon, you can literally start going for baron. Or maybe you're looking for an inhibitor. And then you take all of this, right? And then you do this. And now you have this umbrella effect that is created by pressure, because everyone is like, this is the pressure zone, this is a enemy-free zone, and this is baron, now you take baron. And after that, the next fight ends the game. Because you're going to reset after the baron, maybe you don't need to reset after the baron, and just simply use your gold, push mid lane because this is already down, or maybe this is down, right? And then you push mid lane, then there's a mini, ARAM right there, yeah?